Welcome to T4G Sports. Matt Rhule calls out the SEC. Let's listen.
I'm really worried about the non-conference schedules. Are you concerned about those, the Nebraska versus Arkansas, Nebraska versus Oklahoma, where it's great for fans, but is it great for Matt Rhule and the Huskers?
Why would you ever play one of those games? We're being completely honest. Coach Meyer, I'm at a lucky point in my life where at my fourth job and after getting fired in the NFL, I kind of say what I feel nowadays. I could care less. Why in the world would a Big Ten team who's already playing 9 conference games, why would you ever play one of those games? You look at a lot of teams there's, and I love it's not anti-SEC, but there's some SEC teams that last year only played 3 away games in another team's stadium. 3. We're in a league where some years you have 5 home Big Ten games. Some year you have 5 road. You have to go on the road 5 times in the Big Ten. Yeah. They proved to us this year when they did all the seeding and all that stuff that early season wins didn't mean a thing. That really it was at the end of the day what you look like in the last month of the season. That's what it all proved to us.
I agree.
If you look at it, and when I say what it looks like, it's really how good your offense is. I don't know why. I don't know what the incentive is. Unless at some point the Big Ten SEC get together and they say, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that. But when I joined the Big Ten, the thought of playing Oregon would have been like, wow, that'd be a great non-conference game. Well, now they're in the league. USC's coming here next year, going to UCLA. We've already added in those big games, and so I don't see much cause for it. I think Ryan's a great guy to play Texas again to start the year off. But I don't know what the point is in terms of if you're a Big Ten team getting to the playoff.
Now the biggest point here is playing 3 true away games, which is an absolute joke. And this is why we've been saying that when the playoff expands, the Big Ten is going to show up and shock the world. You look at the last 2 years, right? 2 teams from the Big Ten won the Natty. Back-to-back years. 2 teams. 3 teams total almost went to the Natty. Penn State was 1 game away from going to the Natty, right? Penn State. That's 3 teams from the Big Ten that were fighting for the Natty that were in the same division, folks. The same division. This is what we've been telling people. These teams have been fighting it out, and only one could make it out alive for the longest time, and everyone acted like the Big Ten was a joke. And we tried to warn you guys and tell you guys that, the Big Ten's tougher than you think because all their competition is in one division, and only one can make it out alive. And they have to fight to the death. And then the playoff expands, and then what do you know? 2 teams from the same division win the Natty back-to-back years, and a third team almost comes close for a repeat in the championship. Crazy, right? Shocking to everyone except for us. We weren't shocked by this, so I love that Matt Rhule is calling them out because the SEC is the king of neutral sites. Oh, the king of neutral sites. Oh, it's listed as an away game, but it's not an away game, folks. That's a neutral site. Florida, for the first time in 30 years in recent years, went and played a Power 5 away game with Utah in 30 years, and they got their ass kicked. They don't play the toughest competition in the SEC. I hate to break it to you, but they don't. They always say from top to bottom we're better than everyone else. We had guys commenting for the entire year last year saying Vanderbilt could run the entire Big Ten. Not even Alabama could beat Michigan, for the love of God. And they tried, Paul Feinbaum on ESPN was trying to say that Alabama got crapped on and should have been into the playoff. And other people were saying that too, that they should have been in the playoff. And yet they couldn't even beat Michigan, right? And that's not their rival. You can't use the same excuse as Ohio State where you can at least say, well, that's our rival. That's a different, we hate each other. We have a clock that tells us when we're going to play each other that goes 24/7. Every day they're doing push-ups or however many to lead up to the days of when you play that team. They hate each other that much. Okay, that's a rivalry game. That's the biggest rivalry game in sports. So, yeah, to me, I'm just happy that they're finally calling them out because the SEC has been doing this for a long time, and it's helped them with recruiting. It's helped them with less conference games and with less away games, too. They've gotten more recruits, more NFL talent, and they've been getting away with this for a long time, and now you have to actually prove it. You can no longer just beat on your chest and have ESPN back you and say, well, we're the best, and look at the NFL numbers that we have. Okay, but yet when you have to go and prove it, you guys aren't proving it. 2 years in a row, you have not proved it. Okay, and that's the only time the playoff expanded to where it expanded because Ohio State wouldn't even have made it into the playoff this last year with a 14 playoff. The true national champ would not have been crowned this last year. You guys know that? The true national champ would not have been crowned. Think about that. How many years do you think prior that the true national champ could have not been crowned? We'll never know the exact number, but that's up for debate. So I'm happy that he is calling them out. And I will say he also dropped a little nugget when he said about, unless the Big Ten and SEC merge, I think they're going to merge. And that's basically what he's getting at there. I don't know where it's at in the video, but I do think they're going to merge. And I do think that the SEC is much closer in talent to the Big Ten than they'd like to admit. And I think it's going to get, I think that's only going to get closer and closer and closer. And I think the Big Ten needs to get a lot more respect, because that's when we came out for a long time and gave the Big Ten credit. People wanted to say that we're Big Ten biased. And we're like, no, we're just speaking the truth. Don't think we're just Big Ten biased and we just hate the SEC. No, we literally predicted what has happened in the last 2 years. And that's not us being Big Ten biased if it came out to be true. Now, if it didn't come out to be true and Ohio State got whomped and Michigan lost and they both lost it, yeah, you would be able to tell us, hey, you probably just have Big Ten bias. That didn't happen. So I'm happy that other people are doing this as well. So thank you to Matt Rhule. Great work on just going out there and being damn honest. I love that.